The Curse of Captain Blackwell. The storm raged. Howling winds and crashing waves battered the Sea Reaper as it lurched through the blackened ocean. The crew, drenched to the bone, moved like shadows in the gloom, their faces twisted with fear and anticipation. They had planned this night for weeks, the mutiny against Captain Blackwell. Blackwell, once a feared and respected captain, had grown mad in recent months. He spoke to the sea as if it answered him, whispered dark secrets to himself in the dead of night, and his once sharp eyes had taken on a wild, haunted gleam. The crew murmured of cursed treasure and ancient powers that the captain had angered. None dared speak aloud what they feared, that Blackwell was leading them all to ruin. Below deck the crew gathered. First Mate Reynolds, a man as hard as iron, stood before them, gripping a cutlass in one hand and a pistol in the other. "We do it tonight, lads," Reynolds said, his voice barely louder than the storm. "The captain's gone mad, and he'll see us all to the bottom of the sea if we let him." There was a murmur of agreement. No one wanted to face the wrath of Blackwell, but no one wanted to go down with the ship either. They moved as one, silent and deadly, up to the captain's quarters. Blackwell sat at his desk, staring into a map as though it revealed more than just the stars and lines of the sea. His long black coat hung off his shoulders like a shroud, and his pale face glowed in the flickering lantern light. "You think I don't know what you're planning, Reynolds?" Blackwell's voice was cold, calm, but underneath it trembled with something far darker. He didn't look up from his map. Reynolds hesitated, the pistol in his hand lowering slightly. "It's over, Blackwell. You've led us into storms, into madness. We'll not follow you to the depths." The captain finally lifted his gaze. His eyes glistened and his thin lips twisted into a smile that sent a chill through the crew. "The depths? Oh, Reynolds, the depths are where I belong." Before they could react, Blackwell sprang to his feet, overturning the table in a swift motion. The crew seized him, their hands shaking but firm, dragging him from his cabin out onto the rain-soaked deck. They tied him to the ship's anchor, the heavy iron links of the chain clinking like a death knell. Blackwell didn't resist, he only smiled. "You'll regret this," he whispered as they heaved him to the edge of the deck. "Mark my words, each of you. You think you've rid yourselves of me, but the sea never lets go." With a final shout, they threw him overboard. His laughter, hollow and echoing, rose above the storm as he sank into the churning black water, the anchor dragging him down into the abyss. For a moment the crew was silent, watching the dark water swallow their captain. The deed was done. The ship lurched and they set to work, relieved to have rid themselves of the madman. But as the storm raged on, strange things began to happen. Reynolds was the first to hear it. A heartbeat. Faint at first, just under the howling wind and crashing waves, but unmistakable. Thump, 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 thump. It was the rhythm of madness, driving itself into his mind like the relentless pounding of the sea. Then others began to hear it too. The cook swore he saw Blackwell's pale face in the waves. The cabin boy claimed the captain whispered his name through the howling wind. Fear took root deep in their bones, and soon none of them could sleep. Every shadow on the ship seemed to move with purpose. Every creak of the wood sounded like Blackwell's footstep. By the third night, half the crew was raving, driven mad by the unceasing heartbeat, louder now, ever present. Thump, thump! They found Reynolds standing at the prow of the ship, staring into the storm with hollow eyes. He swore he could see Blackwell walking beneath the water, dragging the anchor with him, his cursed eyes gleaming with the fury of the deep. It was too late when they realized the truth. Blackwell's curse had bound them all to him, not just in body, but in soul. The sea churned around them, the waves rising like walls of dark glass. One by one, the crew threw themselves overboard, unable to bear the weight of the heartbeat, the relentless pull of the sea. And so, as the Sea Reaper sailed on, a ghost ship adrift in a storm that never ended, its crew bound to the depths, cursed to hear the heartbeat of their drowned captain for all eternity. Thump, 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 thump. The sea never forgets. And as the sea never forgets, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this haunting sea tale.